In the bustling city of Lagos, where the sun kissed the rooftops of high-rise buildings and the aroma of jollof rice wafted from street vendors, lived a young couple named Chidi and Ngozi. They had met during their university days in Nsukka, drawn together by shared dreams and the rhythmic beats of high-life music at campus parties. Chidi, a hard-working accountant from an Igbo family in Enugu, believed in the proverb, "Aka anayefe ofe diuma," the hand that cooks soup is good. He provided for their home with quiet diligence. Ngozi, a vibrant Yoruba woman from Ibadan, was a teacher who infused her classroom with stories of ancient African kings and queens, teaching her students that wisdom comes not from books alone, but from the heart's quiet lessons. Their marriage, like many in Nigeria, was a tapestry woven with love, tradition, and trials. They had wed in a colorful ceremony, blending Igbo kola rituals and Yoruba aso-oke attire, where elders blessed them with prayers for unity. May your home be like the Iroko tree, strong, unshakable, and sheltering all who come under it. But as years passed, the threads began to fray under the weight of unspoken burdens. Chidi's job demanded long hours, leaving Ngozi to manage the household alone, cooking egusi soup and pounding yam late into the night. They longed for children, but the gods seemed silent, and the pain of empty cradles gnawed at their souls like a hidden wound. One evening, as the Harmattan winds whispered through their modest apartment in Ikeja, Ngozi scrolled through her phone, her eyes lingering on social media posts. There was her friend Amaka, flaunting a lavish anniversary trip to Dubai with her husband, their smiles gleaming like polished cowries. "See how Tunde spoils her," Ngozi muttered, her voice laced with envy. "They have 3 children already, and their home is always filled with laughter. Why can't our marriage be like that?" Chidi, exhausted from auditing Enda's ledgers, sighed deeply. "Ngozi, every pot has its own lid. Why compare our stew to theirs? We don't know what spices they hide." But the seed of comparison took root, growing thorns that pierced their peace. Ngozi began to question Chidi's efforts. "Look at Emeka and his wife," she said one market day as they haggled over fresh okra and tomatoes at Ohingo Market. "He built her a boutique in Victoria Island. You work all day, yet we still live in this cramped place." Chidi's heart ached, for he remembered his father's words. "The river that forgets its source soon dries up." He had sacrificed promotions to stay close to family, honoring the Nigerian value of Ubuntu, "I am because we are." Yet Ngozi's words stung like scorpion venom, awakening his own doubts. "Perhaps she's right," he thought. "Why don't I provide like other men? See how Wubi takes his family to the village every Christmas, with cars loaded with gifts." The comparisons festered, turning small disagreements into storms. During a family gathering for Chidi's sister's naming ceremony, Ngozi overheard relatives whispering about their childlessness. "They must be cursed," one auntie said, sipping palm wine. Tears welled in her eyes as she compared their barren home to the fertile unions around them. That night, back in their apartment, Ngozi lashed out. "Why can't we be happy like them? Our marriage is a failure." Chidi, his pride wounded, retreated into silence, the emotional chasm widening like the Niger River in flood season. Pain enveloped them like a shroud. Ngozi felt isolated, her dreams of motherhood mocking her in quiet moments. She recalled a grandmother's Yoruba proverb, "Bi-aba awo ehing awo ona." When we look back, we see the path ahead. But envy blinded her to their own path. Chidi, burdened by societal expectations of manhood, drowned his sorrows in work, neglecting the tender touches that once defined their love. Their bed became a battlefield of unspoken resentments, and the once vibrant home echoed with hollow arguments. Friends noticed the strain, but in Nigerian culture, where family matters stay in a family, they hesitated to intervene. One fateful day, tragedy struck a seemingly perfect couple they admired, Amaka and Tunde. News spread like wildfire through WhatsApp groups. Tunde had been arrested for fraud, his lavish lifestyle a facade built on death and deceit. Amaka, now alone with her children, confessed to Ngozi over gari and redu soup. We smiled for the cameras, but behind closed doors it was war. He controlled everything. I had no voice. Ngozi's heart shattered, not just for her friend, but for the illusion she had chased. "We only see the dance, not the sweat that makes it possible," Amaka said, echoing an old Hausa saying. Shaken, Ngozi sought wisdom from her elderly aunt in the village, a wise woman known for her storytelling under the moonlight. Seated on a mat woven from raffia, surrounded by the chirps of crickets in the scent of firewood, the aunt shared a tale. Once there was a farmer who envied his neighbor's lush yam farm. He stole seeds, thinking they held the secret. But his soil was different, rocky and unforgiving. His yams withered, while the neighbor's thrived because he nurtured his homeland with patience. Child, marriages are like farms. Each has its soil, its seasons of drought and harvest. Compare, and you poison your own crop. Tears flowed as Ngozi realized the pains they had inflicted. She returned to Chidi, who had reflected on his father's advice. The eagle does not envy the fish's swim. Each masters its domain. They talked through the night, sharing vulnerabilities like offerings of a shrine. Chidi admitted his fears of inadequacy, and Ngozi her loneliness. They sought counseling from a pastor, learning that in Nigerian unions, endurance or agidi is key, but so is mutual respect and communication. From the ashes of their trials rose wisdom. They stopped peering into others' windows and focused on their own hearth. Chidi surprised Ngozi with small gestures, a bouquet of hibiscus from the market, evenings dancing to Sunny Ade's juju music. Ngozi appreciated its steadfastness, calling him his Oli, pillar. In time, they abducted a child from an orphanage, filling their home with laughter that was uniquely theirs. They learned that every marriage bears scars hidden from you, like the intricate patterns on Adire cloth. Beautiful up close, but flawed in perfection.